Anish Shah, I want you to pick up on what we just heard there from Sangeeta. You know, the idea behind putting this event together and getting each one of you to speak is to understand what organizations are actually doing to encourage bringing more women into the workforce, what you're actually doing to retain women and enable them to lead organizations as well. I want to understand from the Mahindra experience, you know, traditionally when you think of manufacturing, you think of the assembly line, you don't think of women being on the assembly line, but that's changing. It's changed at Mahindra, it's changed in a lot of other Indian manufacturing companies, auto companies specifically. How did that happen, and what are you now trying to do to ensure that the momentum picks up pace further?
Shri, to start with, this is a very important initiative because in India in particular, we see a lot less female participation in leadership. So at the shop floor, it has changed a lot, and that goes from the practices in the company. But we haven't done as good a job at the leadership level. That's something we are driving very hard right now.
Why do you think that's the case?
I think that's the case that it just reflects the rest of industry. So typically when we search for new leaders, the answer from search firms is, well, there are no candidates for this. And that's something that we have to fight hard against. At the board level today, in all our major boards, 30 to 40% are women. At the corporate level, over the last couple of years, of 14 hires, 9 are women at this very senior level. Mahindra Finance now, I'm proud to say that, has 40% of the CEO's direct reports as women, which just happened over the last few months. So that journey has started, but there's still a long way for us to go.
It's a long way to go, and I want to then address this issue of the cause as well as the result. You know, you said that when search firms are put out to look for women candidates, they come back and say that there are not enough women. And that might genuinely be an issue as well, because you see a large attrition happen as far as the mid-level is concerned. In that life cycle of maternity, etc., you actually see women dropping out. That's one aspect. The other aspect of, you know, the representation of women on boards, etc., through the Companies Act, making it mandatory to have at least one woman director on the board, that has increase the numbers. But is reservation the answer? You know, a woman leader in a very high position of power, speaking to me a few days ago, she said, I don't know if I want reservation for women, because then I'll always feel like the men are looking at me saying, you got here because of reservation, you didn't get here because of merit. Is that then the answer?
Reservation is clearly not the answer. Right? I've gone through this journey in my previous organization at GE Capital, where we went from 5% women of my direct reports to literally 44% over 5 years. And the most important part was it has to be based on meritocracy. No one in the organization should feel that someone is there because there was a spot reserved. And that is an extremely essential part of the culture in the organization. And even as I talked about search firms, the minute we started pushing back on them, the firms we work with now know that they cannot give us a slate without having participation from women candidates who are, by merit, the right people for that role. So it's just a matter of pushing hard. It's easy to say, okay, here's a pool available, let's just pick from there, but you've got to go deeper to the next level.
You know, speaking of the next level, yeah, Sangeeta, you wanted to make a point. Yeah.
I just wanted to make a quick point. And, you know, women or environments where there hasn't been deprivation or negativity, you don't need reservation.
Yeah.
But if we want to catch up fast, we need a little bit of a boost. And whichever way you bring that boost, you look at the number of female directors in India. The independent director number grew only after it became regulated. So is that necessarily bad? Are people going to sit there and say you got here because there was reservation? Probably in the beginning. But this is a step towards a greater good. So, you know, I do believe there's some case for intelligent reservation.
Yeah, yeah. And the fact of the matter is that we have seen the numbers go up. In fact, they're still not as high as we need them to be, but we have seen the numbers go up.